video, we'll turn each Lilo and Stitch character into their opposites. And I'm gonna build a brand new poster with all the opposite versions. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you a short film, Lilo and Stitch as their opposites. To show you how this is gonna work, let's start with Lilo. First, I'll need to ask my art robot Craig for Lilo's 3 key attributes and key colors. Okay, Craig, what are Lilo's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Lilo's first key attribute is curious, and the opposite of curious is apathetic. Her second is emotional, and the opposite of emotional is logical. Her third is stubborn, and the opposite of stubborn is obedient. Moving on to Lilo's key colors. Her eye color is dark brown, and the opposite of that is pale blue. Her hair color is black, and the opposite of that is white. Her key clothing color is red, and the opposite of that is green.
Alright, Craig, using these opposite attributes and opposite colors, turn Lilo into her opposite version. This is gonna be so exciting. Okay, so this is Lilo as her opposite, and honestly, she's rocking the new hair color. Her hair is now white, and it used to be black. And she's wearing a different dress. It's a green dress, and her old one used to be red. She definitely looks meaner, and her eye color has changed. She definitely looks like she could take me down, and it's honestly scaring me. So overall, Craig, you're starting out pretty great. Okay, Craig, how would the opposite version of Lilo affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Lilo is now apathetic, she no longer explores the world with wonder. She just goes through the motions, unfazed and uninterested. Because she's logical, imagination has been replaced with rigid facts, and her days are predictable, structured, and quiet. Since she's obedient, she never pushes boundaries or questions orders. She simply nods, complies, and blends into the background.
Okay, Craig, that makes a lot of sense, and this version of Lilo is insane. So to start it off, I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Lilo to the poster. Yep, she's just standing there really grumpy. I honestly feel bad. Next is Nani. Okay, Craig, what are Nani's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Nani's first key attribute is protective, and the opposite of protective is carefree. Her second is responsible, and the opposite of responsible is irresponsible. Her third is stressed, and the opposite of stressed is relaxed. Moving on to Nani's key colors. Her eye color is brown, and the opposite of that is blue. Her hair color is dark brown, and the opposite of that is blonde. Her key clothing color is blue-green, and the opposite of that is orange.
Okay, Craig, turn Nani into her opposite using these attributes and colors. She's probably gonna be super chill because in the movie, she was stressed. Okay, so this is the opposite version of Nani, and honestly, it looks pretty good. I feel like it looks like Nani, but as the opposite version, definitely. She looks like she's out shopping, and she's wearing a dress, which Nani, I don't think she wears a dress in the movie. Her hair color is different, her eye color is different. She definitely doesn't look like the normal Nani. I can tell it's Nani, just totally opposite. Like this Nani is so carefree, and the other one is like really stressed. But overall, Craig, I really like this one. Okay, Craig, how would the opposite version of Nani affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Nani is now carefree, she shrugs off problems with a laugh, even when everything's falling apart. Because she's irresponsible, she skips work, forgets chores, and lets things spiral without blinking. Since she's relaxed, she doesn't worry about Lilo, their home, or the future. She just smiles, kicks back, and lets the waves take her wherever they go.
That makes so much sense, and this Nani, I really feel it. Anyways, for this one, Craig, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Nani to the poster. She's just standing there with her shopping bag, totally carefree. Next up, we got Jumbo. Okay, Craig, what are Jumbo's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Jumba's first key attribute is eccentric, and the opposite of eccentric is boring. His second is intelligent, and the opposite of intelligent is unintelligent. His third is bold, and the opposite of bold is timid. Moving on to Jumba's key colors. His eye color is yellow, and the opposite of that is purple. His skin color is purple, and the opposite of that is yellow. His key clothing color is yellow, and the opposite of that is purple.
Alright, Craig, turn Jumbo into his opposite using these attributes and colors. He's gonna be interesting. Okay, so Jumbo had a major makeover. He's wearing like all different colors. He still has 4 eyes, but he's like really opposite, you can tell. And he doesn't look like huggable and lovable like the other Jumbo. And he's still Jumbo, just, I don't know, he just looks sad. Overall, I can kind of see it, Craig. Okay, Craig, how would the opposite version of Jumbo affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Jumba is now boring, he avoids excitement and rarely speaks, spending his days in quiet corners doing absolutely nothing of note. Because he's unintelligent, his inventions fail before they begin, if he even remembers how to start. Since he's timid, he jumps at loud noises, avoids confrontation, and would rather hide than risk being wrong.
Okay, Craig, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. This Jumbo is very opposite, but it's not my favorite. So I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Jumbo to the poster. He is just right up in the front of the poster. He's just chilling. He is Jumbo, literally. Next, we got Pleakley. Okay, Craig, what are Pleakley's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Pleakley's first key attribute is anxious, and the opposite of anxious is confident. His second is curious, and the opposite of curious is uninterested. His third is talkative, and the opposite of talkative is quiet. Moving on to Pleakley's key colors, his eye color is brown, and the opposite of that is blue. His skin color is pale green, and the opposite of that is pale red. His key clothing color is yellow, and the opposite of that is deep purple.
All right, Craig, turn Pleakley into his opposite using these attributes and colors. He's probably gonna be a bad boy, because in the movie, he was kind of a nerd. Okay, so now Pleakley is like the cool guy. His color has changed. His outfit has kind of changed a little bit, but he still has the like antenna thing on his head. And honestly, it's kind of cute. It's adorable. Good for Pleakley. So yeah, he looks really reserved, unlike Pleakley. So he's red and Pleakley was green, so that's great, I guess. Craig, I really see where you're going with this. Okay, Craig, how would the opposite version of Pleakley affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Pleakley is now confident, he walks with purpose, but listens to no one, even when he's completely off base. Because he's uninterested, he no longer studies Earth or cares about its strange customs. He just wants to go home. Since he's quiet, the room stays still and silent, with no commentary, no questions, and definitely no wigs.
Yes, he definitely looks confident, definitely looks uninterested, and kind of quiet, so I think this is pretty good. So I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Pleakley to the poster. He's just standing there all confident and quiet. I'm neither. Up next is Captain Gantu. Okay, Craig, what are Captain Gantu's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Gantu's first key attribute is loyal, and the opposite of loyal is disloyal. His second is intimidating, and the opposite of intimidating is gentle. His third is prideful, and the opposite of prideful is humble. Moving on to Gantu's key colors. His eye color is blue, and the opposite of that is brown. His hair color is dark blue, and the opposite of that is light orange. His key clothing color is red, and the opposite of that is green.
Okay, Craig, turn Captain Gantu into his opposite using these attributes and colors. Instead of being big and stoic, he's probably gonna be really timid and shy. Okay, so this is the complete opposite. He's eating a popsicle, and I feel like Captain Gantu would never do that. He looks kind of shy and timid, and honestly, this is a really good opposite. The colors are different. Overall, Craig, you did a great job. Okay, Craig, how would the opposite version of Captain Gantu affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Gantu is now disloyal, he abandons his team without warning and only looks out for himself. Because he's gentle, he speaks softly, avoids arguments, and would never raise his voice, let alone his fists. Since he's humble, he no longer tries to be the best. He simply watches from the sidelines, happy to be overlooked.
So this makes a lot of sense. The old Gantu used to be so confident and kind of mean, but this one is like timid and like quiet. So I think Craig did a good job. So I'm gonna give this one a 7.8 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Captain Gantu to the poster. He's just there, licking his popsicle, enjoying life. Now let's move on to Cobra Bubbles. Okay, Craig, what are Cobra Bubbles' 3 key attributes and key colors?
Cobra Bubbles' first key attribute is mysterious, and the opposite of mysterious is open. His second is serious, and the opposite of serious is silly. His third is protective, and the opposite of protective is neglectful. Moving on to Cobra's key colors. He wears black sunglasses, and the opposite of that is white regular glasses. Cobra Bubbles is bald, so he doesn't have hair. His key clothing color is black, and the opposite of that is white.
Okay, Craig, turn Cobra Bubbles into his opposite using these attributes and colors. The cool Cobra Bubbles is probably now going to be a not so cool Cobra Bubbles. Okay, so this is the opposite version of Cobra Bubbles, and it is pretty interesting because first of all, Cobra Bubbles would never show up without a suit on, and he is wearing something that's very casual. This is actually kind of awesome. He looks like he's just relaxing, and Cobra Bubbles does not relax. So Craig, you did good so far. Okay, my boy Craig, how would the opposite version of Cobra Bubbles affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Cobra Bubbles is now open, he overshares every detail of his day, even the embarrassing ones. Because he's silly, he turns every serious moment into a joke, even when someone really needs help. Since he's neglectful, he shows up late, forgets appointments, and assumes everything will work itself out without him lifting a finger.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. He definitely looks open, silly, and neglectful, and the colors are pretty good. So I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Cobra Bubbles to the poster. He's just right up front, sipping on whatever drink that is. Pretty chill. Next up is Reuben. Okay, Craig, what are Reuben's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Reuben's first key attribute is lazy, and the opposite of lazy is ambitious. His second is witty, and the opposite of witty is dry. His third is resourceful, and the opposite of resourceful is inefficient. Moving on to Reuben's key colors. His eye color is black, and the opposite of that is white. His hair fur color is yellow, and the opposite of that is purple. His key clothing color is mustard yellow, and the opposite of that is purple.
Okay, Craig, turn cute little Reuben into his opposite using these attributes and colors. He's probably not gonna be that cute anymore. Okay, so this is the opposite version of Reuben, and honestly, it's pretty good. He does look dry, he does look inefficient, and the colors are really opposite. He looks like he's stealing something, he looks like he's like doing something mischievous, and he doesn't look so cute anymore. But he does look ambitious to steal. Craig, good job so far. Okay, Craig, how would the opposite version of the cute little Reuben affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Reuben is now ambitious, he's always starting new projects, but rarely finishes them. Because he's dry, his once clever humor is gone, replaced with dull one-liners that fall flat. Since he's inefficient, even his best efforts turn into cluttered messes, with blueprints flying, sandwiches forgotten, and plans collapsing before they start.
He definitely looks more ambitious than he used to, and all of his colors are different, and honestly, it's pretty good. So I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. Now let's add the opposite version of Reuben to the poster. He is on the roof, just chilling, I guess. That's crazy. And finally, we have Stitch. Okay, Craig, what are Stitch's 3 key attributes and key colors?
Stitch's first key attribute is chaotic, and the opposite of chaotic is calm. His second is loyal, and the opposite of loyal is disloyal. His third is brave, and the opposite of brave is cowardly. Moving on to Stitch's key colors. His eye color is black, and the opposite of that is white. His fur color is blue, and the opposite of that is orange. His key clothing color is blue, and the opposite of that is orange.
Okay, Craig, turn my favorite character, Stitch, into his opposite using these attributes and colors. I am so excited about this one. This is the opposite version of Stitch, and honestly, it's kind of creepy. His eyes are just all white, and it looks pretty interesting. He looks like calm, disloyal. He definitely looks disloyal, like he would steal something from me. And cowardly, yeah, he looks pretty afraid. But I don't know, the colors are all different. He still looks kind of cute, but honestly kind of creepy. Okay, Craig, how would this version of Stitch affect the storyline of Lilo and Stitch?
Because Stitch is now calm, he no longer bursts with energy. Instead, he He naps through disasters and avoids loud noises. Because he's disloyal, he abandons his ohana without a second thought and never looks back. Since he's cowardly, he trembles at conflict, hides from danger, and would never throw a punch, even if it meant saving someone he loves.
That makes so much sense. Him being calm, disloyal, and cowardly? Yeah, that's the opposite. For this one, guys, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Now, to finish the poster, let's add the opposite version of Stitch. Guys, the poster is finished and it looks awesome. Now, what you've all been waiting for, Lilo and Stitch as their opposites.
It's a bright and sunny morning on the island of Kauai, but something's not right. In this universe, every character is the complete opposite of who they used to be. Lilo, once curious and full of emotion, is now quiet, logical, and always follows the rules. Nani, the stressed, responsible sister, has become carefree, relaxed, and totally unconcerned. Jumba, once bold and brilliant, is now timid, confused, and uninspired. Pleakley, who used to ramble non-stop, now barely speaks and doesn't seem interested in anything. Gantu, the loyal, intimidating officer, is now soft-spoken, gentle, and distant. Cobra Bubbles, once secretive and serious, is now silly and oversharing with everyone. Reuben, who never tried, now tries too hard, but nothing ever works. And Stitch? He's no longer chaotic or brave, just calm, distant, and afraid. This is Lilo and Stitch, opposites.